Hi class, I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the Module 1 assignments. For those of you who have already posted to the discussion board, I thank you for getting things started in a timely manner. I think it's really important to do your assignments by the due dates. If you have things going on, I'm more than happy to be flexible, but please just let me know what's going on so I don't expect to see your assignment and find it missing. And this week in discussion, we're going to be talking about HR in general, and really what it is. These are the 4 questions that I want you to answer. We're going to be interacting with a situation called Juanita's World. So make sure you really spend some time reading through these parts over here and getting to know the situation. Your last assignment that's worth the most points will be based on that whole scenario. So it's very important that you have a good grip of what's going on. So the first question is, how can HR management strategically contribute to the organization's mission and vision on a daily basis? This is really just looking at, do you understand what HR is? What exactly does HR do to help an organization? So this is a pretty general question just to see, do you understand what HR is and contributes? Secondly, what skills might Juanita have to develop to better fulfill her role? Um, and this, keep in mind that we're talking about skills here. Skills are things that you can get better at. This is different from knowledge or abilities. Knowledge is more what you know, what you study in a textbook. Abilities are more things that you are born with, something that is more innate and difficult to change. So skills are things like ability to communicate, leadership skills, decision-making skills. Those are all examples, something you might want to think about. So make sure you're focusing on skills, not knowledge or abilities. Thirdly, how might Juanita engage line managers to become more involved in what has traditionally been HR's function in this organization? So again, you need to know what HR is, what HR does, and how they can engage line managers. I'm going to give you an example because this can be a tricky question. So one thing that HR does is handles the hiring for an organization. This would be a great way to get line managers involved because line managers are the one who are going to be interacting with employees on a daily basis. HR handles a lot of different things, but daily management is not one of them. So it would be great for the line managers to be involved in hiring so that they are choosing employees that will work well with them and on their team. That's one example. The last question, which aspects of HR would Juanita want to entrust to specialists? Again, think about what is going on specifically in Juanita's organization. This is a nonprofit that we're talking about. The budget tends to be lower in a nonprofit organization. So where should Juanita spend her money and why? As you look at those questions, if you have any confusion, please ask. I'm here to answer and help all of your questions. Make sure you're using information from your textbook to support your responses. I really want to know that you've done the readings, and that's really what we're here. We're here to demonstrate what you've learned this week. So the other assignment then, the paper for the week, is based on a case study that you can find in chapter 1 of your textbook. So in the e-text, this case study is at the very end of the chapter. So it's page 23 if you're looking at the same kind of format as I am. So you kind of scroll through all the content of chapter 1. There's all these questions. This is like the very end of the chapter. So make sure you spend some time reading the case study. It's very short, so you shouldn't have any problems tackling that. After you've read the case study, your first task is to summarize the case in 1 to 2 paragraphs. Just show me that you read it and that you understand the case study. The second thing you're doing is focusing on what TSA did in order to increase efficiency and effectiveness. So that's kind of information that was in the case study. What did they do in the case study to increase efficiency and effectiveness? And then you have to recommend 2 other practices that were not discussed in the case study. These are things that you come up with on your own. So there's kind of 2 parts in that second question. What has the TSA done to increase effectiveness? And then your own 2 ideas. And it says justify your response. This is a great place to, again, introduce information from the textbook or other scientific sources. The next part, you are doing the same thing again, but instead of talking about effectiveness, you're talking about ethical behavior. So the first part, what is the TSA, what have they already done to increase ethical behavior? And then your own personal ideas of what can be done to encourage ethical behavior. Again, justify your responses. The last thing, you are to explain at least 3 practices you would recommend to ensure TSA follows equal employment guidelines. Make sure you read the section in your textbook on equal employment guidelines. These are things that focus on reducing, eliminating discrimination. So as you talk about these practices, they should be all things that can be done to eliminate discrimination in the workplace. Your paper, I would expect it to be 2 to 3 pages. That's just the content. That's not the title page or the references. If your paper is less than 2 pages, it probably means that you have not thoroughly answered all of the questions. So make sure that it does hit, it is 2 or 3 pages. You should also apply current APA standards. If you're unsure about how to format using APA, again, I'm here as a resource. I'm happy to help. We have also included here the rubric of how the points are broken down, so you can see that the summary is worth the least amount of points. So really spend your time developing those last 3 sections that are each worth 25 points. If you have any questions, email me, call me, text me. I am available. I'm willing and happy to help you guys.